I don't know about you, but whenever summer rolls around, I am actively looking for ways to slow down. I feel like the days get so much longer and time seems to pass in slow motion, which is what I absolutely love about summer and look forward to basically all year round. I'm gonna get these in the frog and then I'm gonna make you a bowl smoothie. Oh.
I want to see the frog.
Okay, I'll show it to you.
I want to see it.
What do you think? Is it the most beautiful thing you've ever seen? It matches your dress. Isn't that beautiful? Matches your dress. My garden this year is bigger than it's ever been in the past, which is really exciting. I'm really hoping that I don't get overwhelmed by it. While I am mostly harvesting volunteer zinnias, cosmos, and marigolds for this arrangement, I am planting a lot in the garden this week. A couple of you guys asked what I planted in the garden in a recent video. I already have zinnia plants planted of several varieties. I planted about 105 plants and I planted 21 basil plants. Right now, you are seeing me plant my dahlias, my celosia, my straw flowers, and my gomphrena. And then I still have to plant marigolds, cosmos, and sunflower. I am really hoping that everything goes over really well this year. Every year, the garden is still a trial, but it is absolutely something I very much enjoy taking the time to do, and it is a big part of my summer each year. As you guys know, I don't like a lot of clutter and I like when cooking is streamlined and easy. That is why I am excited to introduce today's video sponsor, Kitchen Mama, and specifically their Orbit One rechargeable can opener. Kitchen Mama is here to make cooking easier, more joyful, and accessible to everyone. You guys know that I love when something can be both functional and really pretty. It's something that I take very seriously in my house, and I love that about this can opener. It is also really, really easy to do. You just press once to start it, and then it knows when to stop, making opening basically any can of any size really fast and simple to do. It has dual interchangeable blades. You can use the triangular blade for standard cans, and then there's a cylinder blade for jumbo cans, meaning that it can open pretty much every single can. It is USB-C rechargeable and it comes with a storage box so that you can keep everything tidy and neat and together so that nothing's getting lost. And I just love the way that this streamlines cooking in my kitchen. If you think that this is something that could streamline your cooking as well, make sure to head to the link in my description to get your own Orbit One rechargeable can opener. Thanks so much to Kitchen Mama for sponsoring today's video. Lately, I have been feeling rather discouraged in my sewing practice. I had a big project that I did in February that just, it turned out good enough to wear, but I wasn't necessarily very proud of it. Like when I told people I made it, I said, just don't look closely. And that was not really, that's not what I want from my sewing practice. Alternatively, I would like to say, look at every single seam, look how amazing this is, and be really proud of, maybe that's too prideful, but be really proud of stuff that I made because it does take so much time and is often more expensive than even just buying an article of clothing. All of that to say, I have been craving a slower, more intentional sewing project. I also had set a goal to use fabrics that I have otherwise been a little bit intimidated by. This particular fabric is a dead stock fabric that I can't get any more of, that was not cheap, from Mood in New York City, and I just really love it. So I wanted it to be good, whatever I made. And so I finally decided to kind of crack into a big project with the intent of going slow and really just taking my time on it. I am using the Sandra skirt pattern from Sid Graham and the Helen's Closet Ashton tank pattern. I cannot say enough good things about this pattern from Sid Graham. The only thing that I would do differently next time is I would do a traditional waistband, which I will get into more whenever I actually construct the waistband, but everything else about it is just amazing. It's almost entirely constructed with French seams, and she does not allow you to take shortcuts on this skirt pattern, which I feel as though I am at a stage in sewing where I need someone to walk me through really beautiful seam finishes and just all of the little steps that makes a garment feel very, very high quality. And she does that with her pattern. So I can't say enough good things. Same about the Ashton tank. I now want to sew all of Sid Graham's patterns and all of Helen's Closet's patterns because they are so well written. Hobbies that force me to work with my hands, work slowly, and see a slow process of something happen, like gardening, where you see the slow process of a flower coming into bloom, or sewing, where you see the surprisingly slow process of making a garment. These hobbies are definitely my favorite kind. I love that I live in an era where these are all optional and ready to be explored. I find that whenever I get too much screen time or too much doom scrolling time, that my brain gets really cloudy and I am not creative. And so these sorts of hobbies just pull me right out of that, and they leave me feeling more inspired and creative than when I started them. And that is definitely the goal. Okay, I wanted to come back to the Sandra skirt and what I love about it and what I would change. So, one thing that I absolutely love about it is that there is an option in the pattern to make it fully lined. This fabric was a little bit see-through, which was part of the reason why I never knew what to do with it. So, the fully lined option made it totally usable for this skirt. I really appreciate knowing how to line a skirt now because I do think that I could now apply this to other patterns. So that is awesome. The other thing is that the pocket bags are really large, which is just so convenient as a mom to have big pocket bags. And like I said, it is really well written with mostly French seam construction. The thing that I would change is the waistband. I don't think that the waistband is inherently bad or wrong. In fact, I really appreciate learning a new way to sew a waistband. So it's not that I think that this is bad. It's just for that this season of my life, I would change it. So the way that it works is that you cut the elastic, top sew it, roll it over twice, and then top sew it down again. The reason why I would change this is that I am in an era of my body rapidly changing. I was just pregnant. I had a newborn. I'm postpartum. So I would like to be able to quickly edit the size, which is what I like about the traditional waistband where you sew a casing and then just thread elastic through with a safety pin. If you ever want to go edit that skirt to make it larger or smaller based on your body size, it is very fast to do that. This will be more of an event if I ever need to alter it because I will have to unpick the entire waistband twice and then basically entirely reconstruct it. So that is the only reason why I would take the time to change the waistband. But outside of that, I genuinely love the skirt and I'm already dreaming up ways to make it in a lot of fabrics because it's really so beautiful the way that it drapes, especially with this linen viscose. I am a really big fan. For those that are unfamiliar with what's happening here, this is called the burrito method, and it's a way to finish a tank using a facing. And I have used the burrito method only a couple of times sewing the Donnie shirt from Friday pattern, but every time that I do really like it. So again, this is something where the pattern walked me through a new technique or a new finish that I'm really, really glad I got to learn. So I am so thankful for both of these patterns because I learned a lot when I made this set and I am really proud of it. This might sound silly, but I really believe that having hobbies is an important part of being a stay-at-home mom. At least it's really important to me. It's definitely a role where if you don't fill your time, or if I fill my time scrolling, I can feel bored or overwhelmed, or my brain can just feel like mush. But whenever I take the time to actually start a project or plant a garden or work with my hands, I feel a lot better. So if you are watching this and you feel like you need that, I highly encourage you to take the time, maybe even spend the money to start or pick up a new hobby. Of course, it doesn't have to be super expensive, and you don't even have to absolutely love it, but I think there's a lot of value being productive and working with your hands. I have so many things that I want to learn more about and do more often. And I know that being a mom and having this time at home where I am essentially bored is the reason why I can do all of these things that I love to learn about and I genuinely find really exciting. I got everything wrapped up on my tank top and my skirt, and I am so excited to show you guys the final look. As always, thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you feel inspired to tackle a project or start a new hobby this week, and I will see you guys here next week on our Sweet Sunny Days.